Under the pale light of dawn, a faint rustling came from the tall grasses near Farmer Jethro's barn. The air was still, save for the occasional call of a distant bird. Jethro froze mid-step, his shovel hanging loosely in his hand. Something had moved, and it wasn't one of his hens. He approached cautiously, heart thumping in his chest. As he parted the grasses, his eyes widened in surprise. There, trembling and covered in dew, lay a tiny bird unlike any he had ever seen. Its feathers were dark and scruffy, and its sharp, golden eyes darted about nervously. "What are you doing here?" Jethro whispered, kneeling down. The bird flinched, but it was too weak to fly. Jethro didn't know much about wild birds, but one thing was clear: this creature didn't belong on the ground. He hesitated for a moment, then gently scooped the bird into his hands. Its talons, though small, gripped his fingers tightly, as if pleading for safety. Jethro glanced toward the sky. "You're not from around here," he muttered, "but you'll be safe with me." Back at the farm, Jethro placed the bird in the henhouse. "You'll stay here until you're strong enough," he said, though the hens squawked in protest. The little bird huddled in a corner, watching the clucking hens with wary eyes. Days turned into weeks, and the bird began to mimic the hens. It scratched at the dirt, clucked awkwardly, and even pecked at the grain Jethro scattered each morning. The farmer chuckled at the sight. "You think you're a chicken now, don't you?" he said, shaking his head. The bird grew bigger, much bigger. Its wings were broad and powerful, its beak sharp, and its gaze piercing. But it never once tried to fly. It walked among the hens, content to be like them, even as Jethro noticed how out of place it looked. One day, as the sun blazed high above, a shadow swept across the farmyard. The bird, now fully grown, looked up. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. There, soaring high above the clouds, was a magnificent eagle. Its wings stretched wide, and its cry echoed across the sky. The bird's heart raced. Something stirred deep within him, a strange longing he couldn't understand. "What's that?" he asked one of the hens. "That's an eagle," the hen replied nonchalantly. "But don't get any ideas. You're one of us." That night, the bird couldn't sleep. The image of the soaring eagle haunted him. He began to question everything: his life, his place, his purpose. Was he really just a chicken? The next morning, he climbed the fence surrounding the henhouse, flapping his wings clumsily. The hens cackled below. "What are you doing?" they jeered. "You'll hurt yourself." But he ignored them. He flapped harder, feeling the wind catch beneath his wings. For a moment, he lifted off the ground, but fear pulled him back. Days passed, and the bird kept trying. Each attempt took him higher, and each failure made him more determined. Jethro watched in silence, a knowing smile on his face. Then, one fateful afternoon, the wild eagle returned. It landed near the bird, its golden eyes scanning him. "What are you doing down here?" the eagle asked. "I'm a chicken," the bird replied, though the words sounded hollow even to him. The wild eagle let out a booming laugh. "You, a chicken? Look at yourself. You're an eagle. You don't belong here scratching in the dirt. Your place is in the sky." The bird hesitated, doubt swirling in his mind. Could it be true? Was he meant for something greater? "Come with me," the wild eagle said, spreading its mighty wings. "I'll show you." Summoning every ounce of courage, the bird climbed to the roof of the barn. The wind tousled his feathers as he looked down at the farm below. The hens clucked nervously, and Jethro watched with bated breath. "Fly," the wild eagle called. With a deep breath, the bird leapt. For a moment he fell, his wings flailing, but then instinct took over. He stretched his wings wide, feeling the air lift him. He soared higher and higher, the farm shrinking below. For the first time, he felt alive, truly alive. As he joined the wild eagle in the open sky, he realized the truth. He had spent his whole life living as something he was not, simply because he had been told so, but now he was free. This story reminds us that we are often limited by the environment we grow up in or the beliefs others impose upon us. But our true potential lies within us, waiting to be discovered. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back from being who you're meant to be. Spread your wings, embrace your purpose, and soar to greater heights.